Hello everyone, and welcome to, well, I'll just say this. In the near future, streams will be a lot more active. Obviously, weekends are probably the best suited time. But, um, let's just say that stuff in the future will allow me to do more. So, you're probably wondering, a summer special is still April. Yours truly is going to be doing a very special summer-long special, in a it's going to be a strange format. You might think, wait, how is it strange? So it's going to be starting off like mid to late next month in May, and it's going to be done in parts. So you have part one of the summer special, which is in May, and that's called the Countdown to Summer. Shut up.
Say hello to your brother for me.
Then we have part two, which is probably my favorite part that I'm going to be working on. And you're probably thinking, well, why is that? Well, as you all remember last year, I did a stream, well, albeit erroneously, that was supposed to be the 20th anniversary of when I went to summer camp for the first time. As it turns out, that was not the anniversary. It's actually this coming June, not 2004. So, yeah, it's just that I misremembered stuff. So, that's the simplest way I could put it. So, yeah. So, June will have, it's going to be pretty interesting, but the best way I can describe it is, first parts of the summer special, like I said, will be in May. There will be a few episodes in May, then June will come along, and there'll be a few episodes there. And the reason why June will be so special is because, like I said before, earlier, this June actually does mark 20 years since I actually went to summer camp. Last year, like I previously said. So, disregard that stream. And so part one is Countdown to Summer. Part two is Dry Gulch Memories. I said dry, not drug. Dry Gulch Memories. July will be just, I said that. It's wonderful. Someone's watching. Hello.
Hey man, what's up? Hello. Yeah, baby. What's going, girl? Hey, coming up.
I'm trying to think of a name for July.
Yes, you love me tonight.
Oh, right. I think I know. Because July, at least for us Americans out here, 4th of July, unless that guy's changed by somebody.
Hey. Hola.
Don't ask.
Fuck you, putito.
No idea. This job's ready.
I swear these NPCs are out to get me. They're just... Anyway, as I was saying, given the fact that July, at least for us Americans, is well known for the 4th of July, it's also just like kind of a slower time in the summer, So, yeah, I think I'll just call it Dog Days Part 1. So Dog Days of Summer Part 1, and then Dog Days of Summer Part 2 will be in August. And And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's sort of like, you're done with the big thing during the summer, so you're just, yeah. So the whole core theme of this summer special series is nostalgia,
Hello?
which, as someone who is currently 28, I tend to reflect a lot on that. And it also doesn't help, I certainly don't act my age. Oops. Just cut that car off. Now you're probably thinking, so what have you got planned so far? So, first things first, the vehicle I'm driving, the Yosemite 1500, is going to be the chosen vehicle for the June portion of this series of streams. To be more specific, there will be 6 streams in total for June. And like I said, those will be labeled as days. So we have day 0, which will be done in Minecraft. And the reason being is because I have some stuff I'm building in Minecraft. And the first thing I'm doing is building my childhood house in Minecraft as best as I can, because it's not going to be one-to-one, obviously, because Minecraft is big old blocks.
That's crazy.
And then the other 5 days will be in GTA Online, with day 1 being the day the trip starts to go there, and then the other, actually, so you got day 1, which will be the trip to summer camp, which will be Sandy Shores for convenience sake, and because hey, it kind of looks westerny. It's a desert, and Wild West stuff took place in the desert. And then the 3 days after that, it'll be just fiddling around. Just you'll see. And then the final day, which is day 5. That'll be the day that I travel home from, the camp. And so, yeah. And it's important to note that throughout all that, I'll be talking about my experience going there for the first time, which obviously I probably will have forgotten some stuff, because you have to remember this will be 20 years since my first ever trip there, so I won't remember everything. So just please forgive me in advance if things seem a little inconsistent, or they don't make much sense, or something like that. I'm just doing the best I can. Now you're probably wondering, so what's the timeline of these streams? So May will have the most amount of streams, as it'll take place, like I said, the mid to late parts of May. And not only that, but also have a new Let's Play picked up, in the future, and I'll give you a hint for it. The first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood. That's all I'm going to say, but I think you already know where I'm going with this. Anyway, so there's that as well, and that'll probably be taking place alongside part 1 of the Dog Days streams. And the reason being is because of the fact that I'll have already played through that game and gotten pretty much everything I can. So yeah, there's that. Beyond that though, May is going to have the most amount of streams. June is going to have 6 streams, along with, actually no, there's going to be 7, because there's going to be another stream sometime after the 5th day is done, and that'll be this
Yes,
a
this is he.
stream dedicated to just talking about why that
Hey,
camp is
Derek.
so special to me, and how it's doing nowadays, you know. Um, then we have July, which, like I said, Dog Days of Summer Part One. There'll be bleh, there'll still be streams, kind of, throughout that month, but it's not going to be as often because for June it's going to be like day after day after day. So hopefully I'm not going to get burnt out from it. Then again, I've been planning this stuff so far in advance that it's going to be hard to get burnt out. Um, July, that'll be like every couple of days, I guess. Then we have August. So August, I think you already know because this whole series of streams is meant to be like traveling back in time, reliving the year of 2005 through the eyes of someone who is reflecting on it. So, in other words, I'm basically pretending that I'm my 8-year-old self, when in actuality, this is like myself 20 years later. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm essentially reenacting and role playing those same moments to the best of my ability based on how well I can remember it and what all I can do with it. But anyway, so for August, I think you can tell when I'm doing this. It's the countdown to school starting up, and there's only going to be a few streams. And the last stream in this series will be um, me going to school on here. Because
Let's hang at the beach soon.
I think there is there is a place in GTA Online, GTA 5, that you can technically treat as a school, I guess. It kind of looks like one. It's just that, yeah. So, in other words, it's Dog Days Part 2 for August, and then after that, yeah. But, aside from all that, there's also something else I'm going to be doing throughout the summer and into the fall. And it's something that is related to a Discord server I'm in, which, if you play VR chat and you're into, I cannot believe I'm about to say this because do, I don't really talk about this that often unless I'm with friends, but, if you're into, um, furry artists from the 90s, then you'll no doubt be aware of Eric W. Schwartz, the guy who made Sabrina Online.
I caught you going to Honkers.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Hey,
Yeah,
buddy.
so he made Sabrina Online. Just so happens that there's a fan club on VRChat dedicated to Sabrina Online. There's also a Discord server owned by the same person that made said fan club. I know that person is not Eric W. Schwartz, so I'm not trying to mislead people. I'm not trying to shill. I'm just saying, for those of you who want to check us out, feel free to. All you have to do is just visit the world on VRChat, or fan club world. Just don't go to Double D Studios, especially if you're underage, because we
Well, I'll be a
we
monkey's uncle.
recommend you don't, because it's that kind of studio and not a normal movie kind of studio. if you get what I mean. Anyway, point being, so every Monday I do stories for the fan club. I was given permission to make these stories, albeit it had to be along the lines of, the Sabrina Online characters had to either be referenced. So at first I chose the former, but then I chose the latter. So, like, they're actually, like, directly involved with these stories, even though these stories take place in a, you've probably seen a few streams of mine talking about Solaria or something like that. That's where I'm going. It's my own series of stories I've been doing for probably a year now, if that. So yeah, um, in other words,
What you doing all the way out here?
um, you know, I'll be doing a new storyline in late June. And then,
Look at that dumbass over there. I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker, whoever wanted next. You fucking kidding me?
wow. Anyway, um, yeah. So this new storyline that I'll be doing. Go after them. Anyway, yeah. So. If you join that server, then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about, because you'll see in the Written Stories channel that there'll be stories I post every Monday. And traditionally what I've done for these stories is I've done it to where, it's like, anyway. Okay. The more these guys shoot at me and chase me, the less I focus, so I'm just gonna say this. Traditionally, what I've done with the other two storylines I've done is, for the first half of the story, it is a flip-flop, so one week I'll do Solaria, another story I'll do something else. Then the later half of the stories, I tend to make it to where it's like every week. In this case, I'll do it every week. I mean, I will occasionally have a break, just to make sure it doesn't overstay its welcome. But the good thing is, people really like the stories, like the people in the club, like my friends. I mean, obviously, I've made friends with most of everyone here. But my case in point is that they all really like the stories, because it's found a way to include those characters in a way that it's like, well, it doesn't feel alienating. It feels natural, because for the first storyline, it is explained how Sabrina, Arcee, and Zigzag, three protagonists from Earth, actually ended up there in Solaria. It's just that they took a trip there because Sabrina and Zigzag were sent an email from a company on Earth that they've been invited to Metropia, which is the capital planet of Solaria, stating, we've heard about um, actually what it is they've said that, hey, we hear that you are really popular on Earth, and it's more along the lines of, like, I'm treating the Sabrina
Am I
Online
invisible
series
or
as, like,
something?
misadventures that make the characters popular. And so for Zigzag's case, it's because, we're studio. But for RC, the reason why he goes is the fact that the message says you can bring one additional person along. And so by the time they reach Metropia, there's a war that's about to break out. And so since they can't go back home because their flight has to be grounded in order to stay safe, they end up traveling with the two protagonist groups in that storyline. And by the end of the storyline, they become honorary members of the main protagonist team, Delta Band. And so by Solaria 2, they actually end up making their own squadron called the Double Z Elites, which is helmed by Zigzag. And so, yeah, it's kind of a long story, but I'll just summarize it by saying they get indirectly involved in a war, end up helping the good guys, and end up surviving, and thankfully their deeds don't go unnoticed because they end up being hailed as heroes on Earth. Actually, well, no, they end up being hailed as heroes in Solaria, but on Earth, well, that'll come in due time. But yeah. So that's basically what I'm getting at. Is it's a big thing, but it's cool. Yeah. So I know that's a lot to talk about, but yeah. One last thing I'll say though is the fact that I think you guys are going to enjoy what I have planned in the future because I have a lot planned, and don't forget, later this year, it's not just summer that we have to worry about. This fall is going to be gigantic, and I think you know why. As long as it doesn't get delayed to next year, it means I'll probably be 29 then. Actually, I will be 29 then because I'll be turning 29 on Valentine's Day. In any case, also I do apologize if you hear something in the background that's something beyond my control. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this stream. Even if it was a little short, I just wanted to run this stuff by you guys left out of the loop as to what's going on and why I'm doing certain things and, what I'm doing next and all this other stuff. I would have made this stream sooner, but to put it simply, I was just kind of busy with stuff in life. But, that tends to be the running thing in my life. But yeah, I hope to see you all again very soon. In fact, so soon that it'll be the next couple of weeks. But yeah, catch y'all later.